Dr. Wally, what about this argument that vaping is a good way to stop tobacco use?
Thank you for the question, Senator Durbin. As a trained nicotine and tobacco specialist and a former medical director of a tobacco consult service, I understand the devastation of an adult who has been smoking for 50 years and has what we call like a 100-pack history, where they smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day for 50 years. And so no one would be more happy to see additional FDA-proven safe and effective smoking cessation therapies. The FDA has already approved safe and effective smoking cessation therapies. And this is crucial that we as a medical community and as a society make sure that we provide the access to those safe and effective FDA-approved smoking cessation therapies.
So, Mr. Abood, when you listen to Ms. Shapiro talk about her addiction, what do you think as the head of the Association for Vaping?
Well, first of all, Senator, I think about her as the parent of 3 teens and young adults. These are not new issues for me, for my family, for any parents in the United States.
Are your kids vaping?
Some of them do vape, yeah. And we talk about this issue like we do all the other issues that teens have to struggle with.
Do you encourage them to stop?
Of course we do. Of course we encourage them to stop.
Doesn't that tell the whole story here? You don't want your own kids doing this. Why do we want any kids doing this?
We don't want any kids doing this. This is why we raised the age to 21, and we advocated for that. That's why we've made this product illegal. That's also why we work hard at doing the other things, making more common sense regulations to make sure that these products don't get into their hands.
Mr. Sprouse, your retailers, what do they think about this product? Do they just assume that since it's going to be legally sold in the United States or apparent legally sold, they have no moral obligation to the kids that are buying them?
Quite the opposite, Senator. We take a zero-tolerance policy in terms of ensuring that our retailers are trained to prevent sales to youth, whether that be through we-card access or using the available tools that are out there through the FDA.
Do your retailers sell flavored products?
They do, and I would say, like I said in my statement, yes, we've communicated the 23 products that have been granted marketing granted orders, but we also, as I referenced, there's been products that have timely filed PMTAs according to the statutory deadlines, and those products are not receiving the enforcement right now.
Mr. Sprouse, I don't know if you were here earlier, Mr. Abood as well. We established that applying for the PMTA is one thing, but there is a burden of proof by the manufacturers as to the safety of their products. And that is the one element that is clearly not being met by many of the products that are on sale across America today. Do you understand that distinction?
I do. I would also add, just in terms of if you can't sell it through licensed, regulated retail shops where you're age verifying to prevent youth from purchasing the products, it will go into the illicit market. And so, quite frankly, as I said in my statement, authorizations are the key to this. There's 250,000 applications currently before the FDA that have been sitting there, in some cases more than 4 years, and the time is now.
Do you understand the law says that they'll continue to sit there until the manufacturer meets a burden of proof?
Yes.
You can't go selling those in the meantime, assuming that they've proven something that they haven't proven. Do you understand that distinction?
I do, yeah.
Mr. Abood, what about that? I mean, you said this is prohibition. Is it prohibition to say you have the burden of proof that your product is safe for public health before it can be sold in the United States?
Yeah, the problem, of course, Senator, is the fact that the FDA created the regulations. They set the deadlines for complying with the regulations. They asked for and received funding from this body for enforcing those regulations. They changed the rules of the regulations and the requirements after applications were submitted, and they did so in a manner that did not involve any sort of public policy oversight. The net result was the mass removal of products from the marketplace, and which, of course, spawned this illicit marketplace.
But the original law, the Tobacco Control Act, puts a burden of proof on the manufacturer to prove that their product is safe for public health. Do you understand that responsibility?
I do. I do.
And do you disagree with that? Do you think that's not the case?
But manufacturers need to know from the FDA what is required to make that proof. And the Reagan-Udall Foundation, which was an independent body that was asked for by the commissioner, said that the agency has not told companies what is required to prove APPH or how they are interpreting it. And instead of responding to that criticism, the FDA waited 1 year and said nothing. They are not telling manufacturers what they need to do to comply, and they're not even telling retailers what products they're even reviewing, much less how they're reviewing them.
23 of those manufacturers have been approved, so obviously they knew what they needed to comply.
Well, that's a little bit of a stretch, Senator, only because 23 is really basically only 8 devices, and only 5 of them are on the market today. That's not enough for 30 million smokers. That is not enough of options.
I think the bottom line is, if you want to discourage your own children from using vaping products, we ought to understand the danger of that product, and I think you inherently do. Most parents would.